Chapter 30. The Owl Rack. The owl rack was a piece of equipment designed especially by our Aunt Alberta herself. The woman had built it just before she entered Wagner into the Owl Annual Fair, or OAF for short. It was a beauty pageant for owls as Crufts is for dogs. There are numerous competition categories: softest plumage, shiniest bill, twistiest neck, tallest owl, longest wingspan, loudest twit-doing, largest owlet egg, bushiest eyebrows, scratchiest claws, aerial skills, the most rodents gobbled down in 1 minute, sweetest smelling owl droppings. Alberta, being Alberta, wanted to come first in every category. Of course, that included the prize for tallest owl. Just like her tiddlywinks, if she had to cheat to win, so be it. From subscribing to Owl and Owling magazine, she had learned of a famous owl breeder in Sweden, Oddmund, who owned a Norwegian owl named Magnus. He fed it a ton of pickled herring every day, and it had grown to well over 4 feet tall. Even on his tip claws, Wagner was actually only 3 foot 11 inches, so didn't have a chance of winning this particular category. So, deep in Alberta's dark mind, she dreamed up the owl rack. Next, she secretly went on building it. It was a devilishly simple device. There was a 3-step system for making your owl taller. 1. You strap the owl to the owl rack by its wings and feet. 2. You turn the handle. 3. You turn the handle again. Wagner squawked the house down when he was first tied to it. The pain of being stretched was intense. Winning an OAF gold medal for tallest owl wasn't as important to him as it was to his mistress, but he had little choice in the matter. As it happened, Wagner's rival owl in the height stakes, Magnus, was so obese from eating a ton of pickled herring a day, his owner Oddmund had to roll him into the exhibition hall. Under strictest OAF rules, the owl was instantly disqualified, as all owls had to fly into the exhibition hall. Oddmund appealed the decision to the judges and attempted to demonstrate that Magnus could indeed fly by firing his obese owl out of a cannon. However, Magnus crash-landed on the judges' table and ended up crushing 3 of them to death. From that moment on, Oddmund was banned from all future owl competitions for life. Oddmund began breeding penguins instead, and to this day is the world record holder for owning the fattest penguin who ever lived, Agneta, who weighed 6 tons, around the same as an African elephant. Wagner flew away with the prize for tallest owl and took home a horde of other owl statuettes or owlets too. Now, Alberta was going to use the owl rack as an instrument of torture on her own niece. If this terrible contraption didn't make her sign over the deeds to Saxby Hall, nothing would. The device was kept in a tiny attic room at the very top of the house, bare of all furniture except an empty old wardrobe. It was a room Stella didn't even know existed. Up in the attic, Alberta tied Stella to the rack. As much as the girl tried to kick her legs or pull her arms, once strapped to the machine, she couldn't move. Perched on the window ledge throughout was Wagner, shifting uneasily from foot to foot on seeing the rack again. Behind him, Stella could see the blizzard once more raging outside the window. Aunt Alberta's face contorted into one of twisted glee as she turned the handle of her contraption, pulling the girl's skinny legs and arms in opposite directions. "Ah!" screamed the girl. "Sign the paper," demanded Alberta. "Never," replied Stella through the pain. "Sign it!" Her aunt twisted the handle again. "Ah!" Wagner covered his eyes with his wings. Perhaps it was seeing the little girl in pain. Perhaps it was the fact that it was bringing back memories of being on the rack himself, but the owl couldn't bear to watch. Well then, child, I'm going to have to leave you tied to the rock with no food or water, and every time I come back, I will turn the handle tighter, tighter and tighter and tighter until your arms and your legs will be yanked clean off. It was a terrifying image. Stella was rather attached to her arms and legs, but she was determined not to show any fear. You will have to give in the end, child, uttered Alberta. No, no, I won't, never, Stella exclaimed. Oh, yes, you will, replied her aunt. Whether it will be tonight or tomorrow or the next day or the day after or the day after that, you will break in the end. Soon you'll be begging me to let you sign over the deeds to the house. Then Saxby Hall will finally be mine, all mine. You're a monster, shouted the girl. Aunt Alberta took this as a compliment. Oh, thank you. A monster? I'm not sure I've ever been called that before. Such high praise. Now, before I go, I have just one last itsy bitsy little turn. This time, Alberta spun the handle with all her strength. Alberta's arms and legs were nearly yanked out of their sockets. Ah! She screamed. The girl had never known pain like it. Her whole body convulsed in agony. It was as if she was being struck by lightning. Toodle-pip, said Alberta with a giggle. Wagner. With that, the owl flew to her mistress's arm, and the pair left the room. The girl listened as the door was locked behind her, followed by the sound of footsteps going down the stairs. Soot! She hissed. The boy appeared from up the chimney, looking very upset. Oh, I'm so sorry, milady. I wanted to help, but I had to keep myself hidden. You did the right thing, Soot. Now, get me out of this. Soot rushed over to the owl rack and started turning the handle. Ah! Stella screamed. Other way! Sorry, said Soot. He quickly turned the handle in the other direction, releasing the strain from the girl's poor arms and legs. Fumbling, he untied Stella's hands and feet from the leather straps. Faltering a little, she stood up. Must say, you do look taller, my lady, observed Ghost. Oh, well, that's fine then, replied Stella sarcastically. So, what's the plan now, my lady? Stella thought for a moment, before a smile lit up her tear-stained face. We start to fight back.